welcome to the Mousey Makes podcast. This is my little place where I share with you the things I love making and some of the other things I love doing as well. My name's Helen and I live in Durham in the northeast corner of England. It's really lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining me today. What am I going to be talking about today? Well, this is actually my 30th podcast. And although that's not many compared to some of the YouTubers around who've been doing it for quite a while, that seems quite a significant number to get to for me. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of thinking about that, the whole podcasting thing. And before we finish today as well, we're just going to go out on a little walk just to see some of the blossom and lovely things that are around at the moment. But to start off with today, I'm going to show you some of the things that I'm busy making and I've finished, and also some of the things I've bought recently as well. Yeah, I've been doing a bit of online shopping. Right, so first of all, things I'm busy making. Well, the first thing I'll show you is a shawl, another shawl. Yeah, and this is the fourth time I am making this shawl, this same shawl pattern. And this is how far I've got, but I'll show you a photo of it closer up and the yarn that I'm using. Yeah, I know there are tons of shawl patterns out there, but I just love this one so much because I just know what to do and it is so relaxing to do. Beautiful yarn that I've had in my stash for ages. I'm not sure how well it'll drape, but you know, it's going to keep somebody cosy anyway, this shawl. And the pattern comes from this John Arbon Textiles annual, issue 1. That's where the pattern is. The first time I made this, I did use the yarn that was recommended in here, which was absolutely beautiful. And that's still my favourite shawl that I made and gave as a gift. But I've been trying it with different yarns. So there we go. So that's the shawl. And what else? Well, I'm still, ongoing project. Still on with my mitered square blanket. You'll probably get sick of hearing about that, I think. Anyways, picture of it here. Think I've got about 42 squares on it now. So I've still got quite a long way to go before it's a reasonably sized blanket. But anyway, that's quite nice. And I'm still making the same pair of socks I've talked about last time. I'm not even going to show you because I've just put it in the naughty corner. I just went wrong again. I don't know why I've knitted loads of socks and I don't know why this pair of socks, things keep going wrong with it. I'm obviously not paying enough attention or something. Anyway, the only finished things are these tiny things, which are a pattern by Lucy Ravenscar, and I love her patterns. I've done a few things by her before. I've got 3 beetles. Hopefully I'm showing you some photos of these because you can't really see them when I'm this far away from you. A couple of snails and a spider, a little ladybird and a teeny tiny frog. It's quite hard to do the eyes actually, to get them looking right. I'm not quite sure if I've got them right. Anyway, they're cute little things and no doubt they'll go off as gifts to somebody at some point. I kind of build up a stash of gifts over the year and then decide who to give them to, because I don't always decide in advance who I'm going to give them to. Yeah, so I think that's what I am making at the moment. So it's not a huge amount really. But there we go. That's how it is at the moment. And I have been enjoying a bit of online shopping. And one of the things that I've bought recently, which I just couldn't resist, even though I don't really need any more washi tape, is this lovely new washi tape produced by Katie Green of the Green Bean podcast, whose podcasts I really love. And yeah, I'm going to enjoy using them in my bullet journal. And I also bought a little stamper which says handmade. And I just like, if I have made handmade gifts, I quite like to put a label on, just with a little stamp on. Well, usually I write it, but now I've got a stamper to show that it is handmade. So that's that. In this little bag here, I've got some beautiful little pins. Now, obviously I've come across pin badges before because they're quite often produced by charities and things. But I'd never really discovered until recently that there were all these lovely little crafty related ones. So I'm really happy with them. And I've seen that some people make a little banner to attach them to. And so I think that might be quite a nice thing to do with them. I'll make a banner and hang it on my craft room wall. So that's those. Sorry about all the rustling of the bag. Right. Oh, here is a most beautiful thing I've just bought. I hadn't treated myself to a new project bag for ages. And I saw this one in my travels on Etsy, I think. And I fell in love with the fabric. It's got all the things that I love on it. Books and birds and, well, even rainy weather. The outdoors, I think, really. And cups of tea. So there's teapots on there as well, and flowers and plants. It just kind of summed me up. So I couldn't resist it for the fabric. But I also thought it looks such a lovely bag. I love the contrast fabric there. I love it that it's got this lovely cord in the top, drawstring, but also that it stands up on its bottom there like that. So that's going to be great. It's nice and roomy. So I'm really looking forward to deciding which project to put into that bag. I bought it from Crafty Clegg's Creations on Etsy, and I will leave a link in the description box below because she has some absolutely lovely things in her shop. And it was such a lovely parcel to get because I actually got a really nice surprise. A special extra that I got was this little slow stitching kit, which I'm not going to hold up because I think the things will probably fall out onto the floor. I'll show you a photo of it. So that was such a lovely surprise, and I can't wait. The bits and bobs in it look so inviting. I can't wait to start using those. So that was a big thank you to Jeanette. She's my new Instagram and YouTube friend. Okay. And I think one more thing to show you that I've bought recently, which is this some more felt from Hannahsfield on Folksy. It is just beautiful. And I can't wait to make some things from it because I'm really quite keen on making things out of felt at the moment. And that is just the most delightful felt that I have ever seen. These are all, I think these are called Bluebell colours. But they are beautiful. Can't wait. And of course, when I've made something with them, I'll show you. I'll share that with you. So, next I'm just going to have a bit of a, hopefully not too much of a ramble, but a bit of a chat about the whole process that I've gone through in starting a YouTube channel and, you know, my thoughts on podcasting and how things started and how they're going. And I'll show you a few various bits of video as we go along while I chat to you about those things. So first of all, why did I start making podcasts to put onto YouTube? It was during the first lockdown last year when I first regularly started watching YouTube podcasts by creative, crafty people. And my first favourite ones were The Last Homely House and the Green Bean podcast. And I still really love them. After a while, the idea came to me that I could have a go at making a podcast myself. So very tentatively, last August, I made my first podcast. I felt completely out of my comfort zone. I have quite a quiet, introverted personality. But for the first couple of episodes, I didn't even set them to public. I just linked them through my Instagram and website. By the third episode, though, I felt a bit braver and made my videos public. I had a very slow trickle of viewers and subscribers, but I was completely okay with that. As I've said before, I definitely didn't start podcasting to make money or to build up a huge following. I just hoped I would make a connection with a few like-minded people who might be interested in seeing what I get up to, and also join the creative YouTube community. Another reason for starting a podcast was to challenge myself to learn something new, just to see if I could do it. I started off using iMovie on my iPad to edit the videos, but I soon changed to some software called Shortcut on my laptop, as it gave me a greater range of editing tools. I had lots of help from my son to begin with, because he was already using that software. At first, I presented my podcasts in a format similar to many other knitting and crocheting podcasters. So I would show some finished objects, chat about works in progress, and I sometimes showed craft-related acquisitions. This has gradually changed because I've incorporated a greater variety of crafts and topics, as well as occasional visits to the kitchen or to the outdoors. To begin with, I felt as though my podcasts were vastly inferior to most of the ones that I was watching. Not only because I really didn't like watching myself and my various little habits and flaws that I hadn't properly noticed before, but also because I didn't feel that I had any special or attractive features in my life that I could share. No cute pets or hens or a big garden or a nearby lake or mountains. And I didn't even feel that I had any specialist expert knowledge, like designing new patterns or producing things to sell. It turns out that I'm not even very good at remembering to say much about the yarns that I use, the yarn fibres or colourways or knitting needles or crochet hooks. However, I soon realised that it's completely pointless to compare myself to other people. I am my own person, and that's all I can be, complete with all of my inadequacies. It helped me so much to read the comments made by my first few loyal viewers. They said such kind and lovely things. I stopped trying to emulate anyone else's style, stopped being bothered about not having many viewers. I just started focusing on all the positives that come from being a creator of podcasts. I began to realise that making podcasts is just another craft that involves creativity and imagination and which has got endless possibilities. It's a way of me actually incorporating all of my creative skills and things that I love doing into one bundle. My podcasts have become more of a magazine, a mix of knitting, crochet, sewing, drawing, other crafts, bullet journaling, baking, sharing inspirational quotes, poetry and books that I love, caring for the birds and going for walks, with the occasional bit of philosophical rambling thrown in for good measure. I've also been able to make use of my piano playing skills to provide a musical backing when I've needed it, and I know that quite a few of you enjoy this aspect of my podcasts. I've become a bit more daring with improvising music at the piano and hopefully gradually improving. The reason I actually started recording my own audio tracks is that I was worried about copyright issues, and in the first place at least I didn't want to pay out a subscription to a music provider, which I think is how most people get over the copyright problem. Admittedly, my recordings don't provide a top quality audio sound, but that's how it is at the moment, though it's certainly an area that I hope to improve upon. Another benefit of making podcasts is simply that I'm creating a record of things that I've made and done, a way of memory keeping that will be lovely for me to look back on in the future. One of the best things about starting my podcasts, though, has been engaging with you lovely viewers, including some of you who've got your own YouTube channels, and everyone who's left such nice comments. When I sit down to make a new podcast each week, I feel like I'm having a cosy chat with a few lovely friends. Reading the comments has been so helpful in encouraging me to keep making podcasts, knowing that I've inspired even a small number of people to have a go at something, or given someone a handy tip that they hadn't come across before, or inspired someone to bake something new, or simply just knowing that I've provided a little calm, happy oasis in someone's day just inspires me to keep creating videos and makes it worth all the time and effort that I put into them. An extra strand to my podcasting came in the run-up to last Christmas when I decided to join in with Vlogmas. My Advent videos were great fun to make. They weren't strictly vlogs, I guess, as I wasn't exactly documenting my daily life in the days before Christmas, but I was sort of helping others to prepare for Christmas by providing a few crafty and foodie ideas, as well as getting us into the Christmas festive spirit. More recently, I've started to a new series of podcasts called Gentle Words, which you may have come across. This came about because several viewers had commented on how they enjoyed listening to the poems that I read from time to time on the main podcast. So I thought I'd make some short videos just of poems and group them thematically with relevant pictures as accompaniment. One of the main lessons that I've learned by making my podcasts is that I've had to embrace my imperfections, a topic which I discussed in detail in last week's podcast. I'd love to create really top quality videos with no wobbles or blurring or flickering light levels or sound interferences or various other imperfections. But I know that to do this would require not only some better equipment or even just a better understanding of the equipment that I already have, but also an awful lot more of my time. So I'm having to content myself with a less than professional finish and to accept that although I set high expectations for myself, I am just an amateur and an inexperienced one at that. I'm sensitive to the fact that I need to keep a balance between the time I spend making videos and the time I spend on crafting, alongside working as a piano teacher and also getting the everyday household tasks done as well. Making podcasts has encouraged me to start on projects that have been tucked away, waiting for me to pick them up. And there are plenty more waiting in the wings. I've also tried new things that I hadn't previously made time for. I've found myself thinking in greater depth about some of the human behavioural characteristics that interest me, such as whether it's okay for adults to play, whether we can call ourselves artists, or how we can live with our imperfections and learn to embrace them. In doing this, I found myself doing a lot more writing, enjoying getting words down on paper and redrafting them later, ready to share with you. I'm kind of surprised that I haven't yet run out of ideas for things to podcast about. I've got no idea how long I'll keep podcasting, but I'm not planning to stop anytime soon. I love the whole process of creating something to share with anyone who's interested, and I'm just enjoying going with the flow, making plans for the next few podcasts and then seeing where that takes me. I'm quite happy for anyone to make suggestions for future content. I've already been given one or two ideas from lovely viewers, so please do write any ideas in the comments below. Okay, well, I think I'll stop there and we'll just head outside for a short while to appreciate the seasonal treats that nature has for us at the moment. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode and that you might like to come back another time. It's been lovely having you here with me, and I'm just going to say goodbye now and see you next time. Okay, Bye.